Aspera, what are you doing right now? What are you doing right now? You trying to jump on a call? You trying to chat? What up?
Hey there.
Hey, how's it going, man?
Not too bad. A little tired. Ended a little late yesterday, but all things aside, went pretty well.
You
How about
certainly,
you?
certainly did. I'm great. I'm very, very good, man. So hit me with it. How was the first webcam event?
I think it went extremely well. If anything, huge shout out to the players for being very patient with us while we figure out the kinks and everything that went on with the first one. But overall, went extremely well. Player diversity was pretty good as far as the characters go. Naturally, we are going to have our meta staples, and those will always take a big chunk of it. But for the most part, gameplay was solid. Players, the ones that we caught on stream anyhow, played extremely well. And made for some really exciting gameplay. So honestly, I think for the first one, it was a pretty home run hit. Yeah.
I agree. I got to watch a little bit of your stream, and I got to say the energy that you and Church brought was really, really good. Your previous game is Dragon Ball, right?
Yeah. Played a lot of Dragon Ball, played a lot of Digimon, and casted for those in terms of like worlds and nationals over the past 2 years.
And so over the past few years, it's been a lot of webcam games, right?
Oh, predominantly webcam. Like, especially like playing in them. I think I have over 2 dozen regional plus level experience playing in webcam games.
Hell yeah. Okay, that's crazy. So compare, because I've never played a webcam event in my whole life. Literally yesterday was the first time I've ever even watched webcam events. And I mean, some people's setups were a little questionable, but we won't get into that. How did this compare to any of those events? Because I'm such a noob when it comes to webcam stuff.
Yeah, I think it was solid. Like you said, I think the biggest hurdles are always just player setups, making sure that internet connection, like those are the things that you kind of have to try to control, but you kind of just have to accept that it comes with the platform. Are things like internet connections, are like camera setups. Not everyone has the play space to make a cam with a stand, with good lighting and all that, which kind of makes it all together. But in terms of organization, it was super solid. We used a platform that allows players to submit their results, look at their standings, and if we can keep moving with either it's MHACCG or something else in terms of a platform where players can really keep an eye on how the tournament flow is going overall, I think it's going to be fantastic. And in terms of the Discord setup, I think those who manage Discord did extremely well on that front as well. They had specific player roles just for those so that we're not pinging the entire server. We had multiple channels for discussions in terms of pairings, judge calls, and all that. And we had 4 judges on deck, I think, which even then I think is a little bit overkill.
Okay.
But yeah, I think compared to everything else I'd seen, very good flow. Especially since I think this was probably some of a lot of people's first games. So tying a lot of people playing on webcam for the first time, alongside probably just playing in general for maybe their first, second, or third time, and I think everything went extremely smoothly.
I agree. I think it was a cool tournament. I don't love the format. I don't love the night of the week, but I think like, taking out all the negatives, there's so many more positives that you can say about the event that you guys pulled off, and I'm really, really happy. I'm so happy for the game.
It's
years ago, because I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh like a bunch years ago. When I first started playing UFS, call me a boomer. I had a dream one night that we had a major as big as like Yu-Gi-Oh Nationals with like 3,000 people. And I woke up and I was crying and I was so happy. And I'm like, one day we're going to get there for UFS. And hey, that never happened. But with my hero, we can get there. And this just proves it. 100 people on a Wednesday night playing webcam events. What does that say about the Vegas event? Right?
Right. Ugh. Yeah. Right. Ugh. It's so huge. The convention events, and that's really what we've been trying to do with everything that we've been trying to set up with organized play is UFS, which is actually incredible to me as a card game player, is a game that's standard over a decade. And I've played I played Magic the Gathering, I've played Dragon Ball, of Yu-Gi-Oh, all that jazz. And it always felt like that card game that is resilient, has always existed, but kind of lived in the peripheral of all these other card games are doing.
Right.
And I think a big thing that we're trying to do here is really bring that into the front and center stage. We have the massive price pool for the HLC, which is ridiculous even when I still think about it.
Hit me with that number.
$250,000, $250,000 prize pool.
Crazy. Actually, as an old head, I cannot believe that that's a number. I can't believe it. That's blowing my mind, dude. So I didn't actually get to see
So
the announcement itself. Could you do me like a quick recap? I got to watch the little, they made like a little video, right?
yeah, yep. So just a quick video, just kind of hype video to get started. Obviously, we're gonna give more details soon, TM, when all the ducks line up.
Already
But
part of the memes. Love it.
but basically, the way it stands that the HLC is a 32-man invitational tournament.
Okay.
And there's going to be multiple facets in which you can join because we want to reward all levels of players. So naturally, you're going to have those who place top placements in national events.
Yeah.
Because obviously we want to reward our, our most competitive players.
Makes
But
sense.
additionally, we're going to make sure that we reward those who play throughout organized play. So even if you don't have a topping result, if you show up to every provisional showdown, you show up to every regional, you showed up at Nats, we're going to have ways to track your performance throughout the organized play season. And even if you might not have placed a top placement that would have gotten you an invite that way, by being a seasoned grinder, you will have an avenue to get into the tournament that way as well.
That's so amazing. That's so cool.
Yeah. Yeah, so we just want multiple routes to reward those who are going to play out, even if you ended up winning. And then there's two other ways. First, there's going to be a last chance qualifier. So at the venue, if you can get your butts over to Vegas, you'll be able to play out to fight for a spot into the HLC. And then, and the beautiful thing about the HLC is that the moment you get invited into a tournament, you're walking away with money. We haven't made the announcement structure yet, but you are walking away with money the moment you go into the tournament. And
so hold on. The HLC that is at Level Up Expo.
That's not at Level Up Expo.
Okay.
No. So the HLC will be at Vegas. So it's all expenses paid.
They're both in Vegas. They're
both in Vegas. Yeah.
I was
that'd
confused. I was
be
like,
crazy.
wow, we got a month for the Invitational. What?
No. And then, so there are 4 streams. So those were the 3 streams. The 4th stream goes to our Pro Hero MVP. So that's going to go to the player who not only participates in organized play and shows up in tournaments, but who shows integrity, sportsmanship, who's a community member. So this is something that we want to give out to represent the best in us as players, the best in us as a community.
Yeah.
So that will be invite specific, and we'll go out to the player that we feel really brings that all together in terms of what we want to be as a community.
How cool.
So those are the 4 avenues. Those are the 4 avenues that get you in there.
That's rad. And you're on the Jasco side of things, right? Like I noticed in the chat, you've got a little J by your name in the official Discord.
Yeah, exactly. So I was brought in as a all-around expert. I guess you could call me like a community manager at this point, but I'll be managing things in the back end in terms of organized play consultation. I'll be working with Frank. I'll be working with the team to make sure that we reach out to content creators and community members, and that the events make sense. So I'm going to be probably one of the more front-facing Jesco employees out there, making sure that everything's running smoothly. And of course, anyone's welcome to reach out to me if they have anything that any feedback they'd like to provide to the team.
I love that. That's so awesome. That's so awesome. Do we have any details about the Level Up Expo event? Obviously, we're hyped about the 25 or 250K event. Wow, I don't even want to. I'm adding the wrong amount of zeros, which is a crazy thing to say. Do we have any info about the Level Up Expo event or no?
Not at the moment. We're still working with the convention centers to figure it out. One of our TOs, so it's not even Jasco directly, it's one of the TOs that we work with very directly, is going to be running the event there. And naturally, because a lot of things are shutting down, Pasadena is closing down now. So like the most recent YCS that was supposed to happen next week, that just got shut down.
Wow. Okay.
So we're working with regional jurisdictions to make sure that whatever we do sticks with regulations and that it all makes sense. So once that gets flowing, then we'll have the details.
Let's pretend, obviously this is not on the record, I'm not streaming to a bunch of people. Let's pretend that it does get shut down. Chances of it turning into a webcam event are 15, 20?
Pretty likely, I would say. I don't know about percentages, but I'd say any opportunity we can to provide an alternative to anything that gets shut down, we would definitely jump on as quickly as possible.
What a great answer. All right, man. I'm sure you're going to have some meta breakdowns over on your channel. Everybody, exclamation point, MHA creator.
Actually, here, you know what? You can have a quick preview of what we're about to post later today. So if you want a little something to discuss what the tournament yesterday looked like, you're welcome to use that.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, Espira, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Any shout outs you want to do? Actually, do you want to talk about this together, or do you want me to hit it solo? I'm sure you
No,
got
if
tons to
you,
say.
I mean, sure, if you want to talk about the breakdown, we totally can.
Yeah, for sure, man. Let me put this up in the important image. I'm so happy. I have to save it. Gotta. All right, so you start talking. How was your event? Give me the nitty gritty details about the things that you noticed.
Um, so Tokiyami was actually a deck that surprised me. I wasn't expecting it in that many numbers. Kirishima, I think, if anything, I'm almost surprised that not more people took it, to be honest. He's a very solid deck. I mean, he placed very well all throughout the tournament as we were shuffling across tables to see what to showcase. Um, it was kind of a little bit tough to find a matchup where he wasn't sitting in. But Tokyomi was a huge surprise, huge representation there. And I'm really happy about Jiro. Jiro did get nerfed in webcam games.
Yeah.
We do reveal the cards now instead of just because of how the logistics work out. But Jiro still being at a full-on, 10 players playing it out, so making up almost 10% of the tournament, which was awesome. And then across the board, there were only 3 characters in total that weren't actually played. So we got a spread of almost every single character being represented and even played at top tables. Momo was at a top table almost the entirety of the tournament. So overall, fantastic spread, I think, is what we're going to see. And I think the more comfortable people are getting to playing against the decks like Tokiyomi and Kirishima, I think the better that's going to showcase. And the more these numbers are probably going to skew to a more open field.
Agreed. And we don't even have at minimum 4 characters out, right? And that includes the DLC, and then the provisional pack characters. We saw what's his name? Warp guy. His name is Kirigiri. That's his name.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Kurogiri.
Kirigiri and Midnight. Like what do they do against the top tables as well, right? Like Kirigiri is going to be such a monster for Kirishima to deal with. Yo, I don't have a block for this one, but I certainly have a block for that one. So put that one on the bottom of your deck and go pick that one up. Like that's
Yep.
that's good enough as it is to turn this 5-hander who's trying to sculpt attacks into like sculpting the ones that you want him to find. I think it's very, very cool.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess that one of the biggest notices too, I guess if we're going to keep on the line of like things that have kind of changed with the format is that there is the new Mulligan rule that applied. And on stream, we actually caught this, and I wouldn't be surprised if some people just ran it throughout the tournament too, that some people were opting to go second.
Yeah.
So we do see some characters opting for the partial mulligan, saying I'd rather just a consistency. And the additional card helps a lot. I mean, 5-handers now definitely have a much stronger game going second just because they're able to set up their board while still be able to protect themselves along the way. So those were some of the biggest highlights we could see from this first Wednesday weekly.
Yeah, I love the new mulligan. I've been playing with the new mulligan for at locals. I mean, it's part of the reason that I won my locals this week, and I got to open up all these super red plus ultra packs. But like, it's not even the idea of like getting to build more, but it's the idea of having more options when it comes to blocking when you go second. When everything goes even keel, of like my opponent gets to build an okay amount of foundations, I get to build an okay amount of foundations, and I still am able to like play blocks. Like the big thing that like people don't get with like the going first versus going second, and they don't think about it this way, is if you're going first, you actually get 2x the amount of cards that like your opponent gets, because we're not a single draw at your start phase kind of game, right? In Yu-Gi-Oh, your 5 hands turns into 6 cards. In Magic, your 7 turns into 8. In ours, my 6 turns into 12. And that's so many cards. That's so many cards. And so like if you were to look at any of those other games and say, yo, the person who goes first gets to play with 14 cards and my opponent gets to play with 5, you're going to be like, oh yeah, then I'll go first every day of the week. Giving them that extra card advantage, and then like the mulligan to make it more consistent, and like I love the asymmetrical mulligan system, and I think I'm very excited to see the numbers that it pushes through. And even if Jasco, like, we get all this data and we push from like the number of win percentages for, I was going to say white and black because of chess, the winner for percentages for first player is skewed a little more, and we can get rid of the extra card because we want to make it this, or maybe we let first player get an extra card or something. I don't know. I'm thinking crazy stuff. But like whatever Jaska could do to change it up, this is not set in stone, because one of the big things that Jaska does is they care about the game. They really, really care about the games and the mechanics and everything. And it's one of my favorite things. Is the reason I love UFS Universe's My Hero so much.
Yeah, we go in between meetings and like half the guys on our board of directors are like, "All right, guys, so what do you guys got after this?" Like, well, I'm currently building a deck while we're talking right now.
Yeah.
So they're constantly playing the game, which is wild to me. So they not only do they love the game, they're players and they want to see the health of the game be at its best just as much as anybody else, which is always awesome.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Um, yeah, I'm so happy with this breakdown too, especially because of the idea of do you know what diversity is in universes in like standard?
Is that the one where like it's only like X amount of characters? Like it rewards people for playing like characters that aren't of the greater population size, something like
Correct,
that?
correct, correct. It is if you are inside of top 8 with another with a hero that is also in top 8, whoever has the lower seed gets bounced to ninth. My most famous story is I was playing as Spike from the Cowboy Bebop set, and I ended up getting second at an event, only tying with the first place Spike. And so we went X01, and I got ninth place. And people were worried about this game because of the fact that there is no diversity and the fact that we were just going to play rock paper scissors events. There's a lot of diversity, natural diversity on this piece of paper.
Mm-hmm.
This graph that we're showing, which makes me so happy. There's so many characters being represented here.
Yeah, that was a huge consideration when we were like figuring out like, okay, how much do we enforce the diversity rules? How do we go about tournament structure in the future? Those are still discussions we're having internally because obviously we want to be very lean with the way we go about these things. So if we notice that like, hey, it actually turns out things are better this way, we're very open to, shifting things around. We changed the mulligan rule, and who knows if
Yeah.
we see that there's a reason to make changes like that again, then sure, we'll definitely talk about it. But that's a big thing that we want to make sure. Like we want to make sure multiple characters are playable. We want to make sure, and this made me super happy as well when we midstream when we were talking about the different breakdowns. You're gonna have your strong characters like your Kirishimas and Tokiyomis, and that's totally fine. Like that's just the way that cartoons work sometimes. But the fact that even amidst that, we have a spread of easily 75% of the field being a bunch of other stuff is super super cool. And if the game can keep representing meta breakdowns like this, I think we're in a good place.
Totally agree. Totally agree. All right, man. This has been a blast. This has been so rad. Thank you so much for letting me have a sneak peek at this, and I'm excited to see your thoughts on it in the future.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me on, and keep doing what you're doing, and I'll keep watching.
Thanks, man. All right, you have a good one. We'll stay in touch.
Yeah, you as well. Ciao.
Peace. All right, so here's my favorite thing about that conversation we just had. I think that I love Espira because he talks about as fast as I do whenever I get excited. And I could tell that he was so passionate about what was happening because he was going a mile a minute. And I'm sitting here just smiling like, hell yeah, dude. I'm so into it.